republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder to silence your cell phones. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilor Basil.
Here.
Councilor Guerrero.
Here.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Here.
Councilor Scalise.
Here.
Councilor Spradlin.
Here.
Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Okay, everybody's here. Well, next we have approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
Move we approve the agenda for regular meeting of May 13th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Basil.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Guerrero.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, motion passes. Next we have the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any corrections? Nope. If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 22nd, 2024. Or I'm sorry, that can't be right. Oh wait, it is.
Special meeting. Second.
Any discussion? I was just trying to think through the, like, oh, that's right.
I just read it and it was written. I apologize. Dates are hard.
All right, roll call vote.
Councilor Guerrero.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Basil.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Next, we have visitors and delegations. Citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the mayor. Please note that no formal action will be taken on an item that's not posted on the agenda due to the open meeting law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. Is anybody here for public comment? No? Okay. So we'll move on to management. We've got lots of proclamations tonight. So the first one is International Firefighters Day. I'm going to have Councilor Guerrero read this proclamation.
Proclamation number 2024-3 in recognition of International Firefighters Day. To designate the date of May 4th, 2024 as International Firefighters Day. Whereas firefighters dedicate countless hours, selfless time away from their families, and take ultimate risks to serve their communities. And whereas firefighters in our community volunteer their time and leave their families, jobs, and personal lives to answer the call. And whereas the role of a firefighter is to respond to emergencies involving life, property, or environment, and to fight together against an enemy that can quickly destroy lives. And whereas the men and women of the fire service industry are a special group of individuals that exude extraordinary commitment and exceptional courage to tirelessly serve and protect others. And whereas International Firefighters Day was created in 1999 after 5 firefighters tragically died during a wildfire in Australia when the direction of the wind changed suddenly and engulfed them in flames. It is celebrated on May 4th because that is St. Florian's Day, and St. Florian was the first commanding firefighter of an actual Roman battalion, saving many lives, and is considered the patron saint of firefighters. And whereas International Firefighters Day is a time when the world's community can recognize and honor the sacrifices that firefighters make to ensure their communities are safe as possible, and remember those that have given the ultimate sacrifice of their lives to protect the safety of others. Whereas we show our support and appreciation to the firefighters and their families in our community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares May 4th, 2024 as International Firefighters Day in the city of Brush, Colorado, given under the hand and seal of the city of Brush this 13th day of May, 2024.
Very good. Does anyone like to make a motion to approve that proclamation?
I move we approve proclamation number 2024-3 in recognition of International Firefighters Day.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Basil.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Guerrero.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Next we have the proclamation in recognition of National Foster Care Month. I'm going to have Councilor Spradlin read this one.
Proclamation number 2024-4 in recognition of National Foster Care Month. Whereas children are key to the state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life. Whereas children have a right to thrive, learn, and grow. Whereas foster parents provide the love, safety, and stability that young children need in order to overcome past traumatic experiences in order to reach their full potential. Whereas Colorado foster parents are caring for and nurturing more than 2,000 children and youth in foster care today. Whereas we must come together as a community to recognize the important role foster parents play in caring for children who have experienced abuse and neglect, supporting family reunification, and building strong communities. Whereas there is always a need for more foster parents in order to ensure children, especially older youth children with complex needs and siblings, have a safe, stable home in their community. And whereas there are numerous individuals, nonprofit organizations, and public servants who are dedicated to raising awareness about the needs of children and youth in foster care, as well as the invaluable contribution of foster parents. Therefore, as Mayor of City of Brush, I do hereby proclaim May 2024 Foster Care Month.
Good. Carrie Schmeickel is here. I probably should have. Would you like to speak?
Just briefly, good
Yes.
evening. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and the council for the ongoing support that we continue to have in our county, in our community, working with our partners to help keep kids safe. We have some really wonderful foster parents that we work with in our county, and they work hard, and it's a selfless job, but they also support reunification with the parents when it's time to let them go back home. And so we just appreciate the ongoing support that you all provide for us in working together with our community. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you for being here, Carrie.
Thank you.
So with that, I look for a motion to approve that proclamation.
I move that we approve proclamation number 2024-4 in recognition of National Foster Care Month.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Gurrell,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Basil,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Okay, that motion passes. Next we have National Police Week. I'll have Counselor Tyree read this one.
Proclamation number 2024-5 in recognition of National Police Week 2024. To recognize National Police Week 2024 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the 14 dedicated sworn members of the Brush Police Department when fully staffed. Whereas approximately 55,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported on average each year, resulting in more than 16,000 injuries. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, which was dedicated in 1991 in Washington, D.C. Whereas 118 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring for those lives lost in 2023, 4 of whom were in Colorado. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 36th Annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2024. Whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 12th through 18th. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officer Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and for their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Let us honor law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Let us appreciate and support the courageous deeds of officers who risk their own lives and well-being every day. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares May 12th through 18th, 2024 as National Police Week in the city of Brush, Colorado, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. Given under the hand and seal of the city of Brush this 13th day of May, 2024.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Officer. I was going to call you Officer Tyree, Counselor Tyree, but you are in law enforcement, so we appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
So I'll look for a motion to approve this this proclamation?
I move that we approve proclamation number 2024-5 in recognition of National Police Week 2024.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Basil?
Yes.
Counselor Guerrero?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. Our motion passes. All right, next we have recognition of National Hospital Week. I'll have Counselor Scalise read this one.
Proclamation number 2024-6 in recognition of National Hospital Week 2024. To recognize National Hospital Week 2024 and to honor the service and dedication of healthcare workers nationwide and in our Brush community. Whereas the National Hospital Day was created in 1921 as a way to encourage trust in hospitals in the wake of the Spanish flu outbreak in 1918. It was later turned into a week in 1953, coinciding with Florence Nightingale's birthday on May 12th to honor her role in revolutionizing hospital care in the mid-1800s. And whereas for the past 70 years, hospitals across the country have come together to celebrate its history, technology, and dedicated professionals. And whereas National Hospital Week highlights every hospital, health system, and person involved in keeping our community healthy and providing the structure to deliver health care. And whereas East Morgan County Hospital and its clinics and departments are essential to the Brush community and are trusted to provide top quality care and service. And whereas this week has always in the Brush community extended its gratitude to our heroes in healthcare for their dedication and sacrifice. Whereas it be resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares May 12th through the 18th, 2024 as Hospital Week in the city of Brush, Colorado, and publicly honors the service of healthcare workers in our community and in communities across the nation where healthcare comes first. Given under the seal, hand and seal of the city of Brush, this 13th day of May, 2024.
Good, thank you, Counselor Scalise. I'd look for a motion to approve this proclamation.
I move we approve proclamation number 2024-6 in recognition of National Hospital Week 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Guerrero?
Yes.
Counselor Basil?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. The next one we have is Economic Development Week. I'll have Counselor Lundstrom read this one.
Proclamation number 2024-7 in recognition of Economic Development Week. To designate the week of May 6th to May 10th, 2024 as Economic Development Week. Whereas economic development is a process that is strengthened by the critical partnerships between economic development professionals and local government leadership to promote a shared vision for developing resilient communities, and whereas economic development promotes economic well-being and quality of life for a community by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base, and whereas economic development stimulates and incubates entrepreneurism. I can't say that word, I'm going to try, so.
You did good.
Thank you. In order to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is the hallmark of American economy, and whereas economic development is engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural and urban, local, state, local, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions, and whereas economic development attracts and retains high-quality jobs, develops vibrant communities, and improves the quality of life in the region, and whereas the city of Brush is dedicated by creating a vibrant, business-friendly atmosphere and economic development programs and partnerships to support its businesses and the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the City of Brush Council formally declares the week of May 6th to May 10th, 2024 as Economic Development Week, and reminds individuals of the importance of this community celebration, which supports expanding career opportunities and making lives better. Given under my hand and seal of the City of Brush this 6th day of May, 2024.
Very good, thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Counselor Lundstrom. Look for a motion to approve that proclamation.
I move that we approve proclamation number 2024-7 in recognition of Economic Development Week.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Basil?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Corral?
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. All right, next we have National Public Works Week. We've got Counselor Basil on this one.
Proclamation number 2024-8 in recognition of National Public Works Week 2024. To recognize National Public Works Week 2024 and honor those serving our community through their efforts in water, wastewater, trash, streets, and stormwater. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Brush. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares May 19th through the 25th, 2024 as the Public Works Week in the city of Brush, Colorado, and publicly recognizes our public works and utility staff members for their hard work, given under the hand and seal of the city of Brush this 13th day of May 2024.
Very good. Thank you, Counselor Basil. Look for a motion to approve this one.
Move to approve proclamation number 2024-8 in recognition of National Public Works Week.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Corral?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Basil?
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman? Yes. That motion passes. Now we have finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for April 22nd, 2024 through May 13th, 2024, totaling $973,274.32.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Basil?
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi?
Yes.
Counselor Corral?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. The motion passes. And next we have an update from Joanne. Surprise!
In your packets this evening is my year-end cash balance comparisons from 2023. These are unaudited figures at this time. Haven't had our auditor in yet. But the first one you're looking at is the general fund, and I like to compare what we budgeted and our actual history, and then kind of give a breakdown of what had happened. So in 2023, our budgeted beginning cash balance was $3,418,000. We budgeted 12 months of revenues of $5,276,000 and 12 months of expenses of $6,613,000, with an ending cash balance of $2,080,000. What our actual history is that at the beginning of 2023, we started out with $3,461,000, so we were close. Plus our revenues of $6,660,000, less of our expenditures are $5,757,000, and the net of our accounts receivables and liabilities of $119,000. And our ending cash balance was $4,245,399, which was a cash to budget difference of $2,164,512. The next piece of this shows the breakdown of the excess cash through the year end. So we had, to start the year, we had an additional $43,582. Our revenues were $1,382,000 more than what was budgeted. Our unspent expenditures was $856,000 less, and then obviously our net of that accounts receivable again, bringing us back to the $2,164,000. Some notes on this is we did not use 13% of the budgeted expenses. A large portion of that is 616 of the unused expenditures was the police department. And a lot of that is whether they're fully staffed or not, because you have your health insurance and their wages and stuff that compromise that, or complete that. The overall revenues were up by 26%. Sales tax was up 21% in 2023. And due to the hailstorm damage that we had, use tax and building permits were up 300+%, because there were so many building permits issued last year. And when I compare our actual cash to what we had estimated in the 2024 budget, our actual cash was $497,000 more than what was estimated in that 2024 budget. So the general fund it came out very healthy, and a lot of that is because we budget revenues conservatively and we let the department's head do their expenditures, and then they usually always turn back money. They're very good, the department heads are. The next one is the water fund. It had $2,181,000 in budgeted cash. Its 12 months of revenues was $2,102,000. Its 12 months of expenses was $3,519,000, with a budgeted year-end cash balance of $764,859. The actual beginning cash balance was $2,047,000, which was down by $133,461. The revenues were $2,003,000, expenditures were $3,201,000, and our net accounts receivable liabilities was $57,000, with an actual year-end cash balance of $907,043. The actual cash to budget difference ended up being $142,184 more than what we had budgeted. Our beginning cash started the year off $133,461 less than what we had budgeted. Our uncollected revenues were $98,870 less than what we had budgeted. And our unspent expenditures was $317,403. Some notes on this is due to that wet season that we had last year, our metered water was down $282,000, so that was a large portion of why our revenues were down. We did not use 9% of our budgeted expenses, which totaled, and then $290,000 is attributed to capital projects. I believe their water tank was one of the ones that came in under budget. Actual cash was $375 less than was estimated in the 2024 budget. This fund is still okay. We've had a lot of capital outlay projects, and that's brought down that cash balance. Okay. Our trash and garbage fund, it's pretty much status quo. Its year-end cash, the 2023 budget, the budgeted beginning cash was $146. 12 months of revenues is $619. 12 months of expenses, $701, leaving our budgeted cash balance at $65,000. Our actual beginning cash balance was $156,000, so $10,000 more than what we had budgeted. Our revenues were $699,000. Our expenditures was $665,000. Our net accounts receivable and liabilities was negative $13,063, leaving our actual year-end cash balance at $177,248, which is actually $112,000 better than what we had budgeted. The breakdown of those excess cashes through the year-end: additional beginning cash $10,009, excess revenues $79,634, unspent expenditures $35,623, and then some notes for this is the increased trash rates makes up of the revenue difference. So that increase that we had to trash rates last year makes up that difference. We did not use 5% of our budgeted expenses. The difference is largely because of the cash of trash containers and county landfills was $32,680 less than budget. Our actual cash was $14,204 greater than what we estimated in the 2024 budget. So we've started out the year in the 14,000 more than what we had budgeted in the 2024 budget. Our wastewater fund, the 2023 budget was budgeted beginning cash balance $1,905,000, 12 months of revenues $2,336,000, 12 months of expenses $2,585,000, and our year-end budgeted cash balance was $1,656,000. Our actual beginning cash was $2,033,206. Our revenues was $2,336,29. Expenditures $2,195,000, and our net of accounts receivable and liabilities was a negative $34,431. With our actual year-end cash balance being $2,133,640, and our actual cash to budget difference is $477,308. Our beginning cash difference was $127,000 better than we had budgeted. Our uncollected revenues was $6,276 less than what we had budgeted, and our unspent expenditures were $390,000. So the notes on that is the beginning cash was up by $127,994. We did not use 15% of our budgeted expenses, which is attributed to a capital project once again. And then our actual cash was $322,224 greater than what we had estimated in that 2024 budget. So we're starting off a lot better in the 2024 budget than we had anticipated. Stormwater fund, that one's pretty much in and out and really never has many surprises. The budgeted beginning cash was $497,468. 12 months of revenues is $316,360. 12 months of expenses is $614,260. With our 2023 year-end budgeted cash balance being $199,568. The actual history is that the actual beginning cash balance was $514,826. Our revenues was $323,101, and our expenditures were $468,301, and the receivable liabilities difference was $526. Our actual year-end cash balance was $369,100, which is $169,532 more than what we had budgeted in 2023. The beginning cash ended up, we started the year out $17,358 more than what we had budgeted. Our revenues were $6,741. This is all pretty standard because of the stormwater rates is 19 cents, or it was, 19 cents per linear foot. The unspent expenditures were $145,959. There's really no difference between your revenues and your actual revenues. We did not use 24% of our budgeted expenses. That, once again, was driven mainly by the capital projects. And when we started, our actual cash is $231 less than what we estimated in the 2024 budget. So we were right on target with that fund. The final budget that we always review is the golf fund. The year-end cash balance, the 2023 budget, budgeted beginning balance, the beginning cash was $17,048. 12 months of revenues was $941,465. 12 months of expenses, and was $947,810. And ignore that prorated for 6 months. That's from a different time. Sorry about that. The actual history, the actual beginning cash is $19,991. The revenues was $958,822. Expenditures was $944,742. And our net of accounts receivable and liabilities is a negative $1,880. Our actual cash to budget difference $21,488. It ended up with an ending cash balance of $32,191. This fund, we did have to supplement the budget, so it includes those supplemental budgets that we had done. And then the breakdown of our cash through the year, our beginning cash balance was $2,943 more than what we had budgeted. Our excess revenues is $17,057. Our expenditures is $3,068. These numbers are fairly close due to that supplemental budget that we did in December. And the actual cash was $39,565 less than what we had estimated in the 2024 budget. This is one that's very hard because you never know what kind of revenues, it's a business. And you just don't know what kind of business it's going to have. So it is very hard to do, and it is fun, the general fund supports this fund quite a bit.
Very good.
Got
Thank you,
questions?
So the golf fund likely due to all the snow that we received last year, and so then this next time we do this, it's gonna look a little different since we've had such a dry season.
I do know that this first part of the year, they've had pretty good business out there.
Okay. Thank you, Joanne.
You're welcome.
All right, staff reports. Let's start with Chief Flecksteiner.
Evening, everyone. It's been a little bit since I've been back here. I've had a lot of training the last few weeks. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date on current staffing. So I've got 2 people in backgrounds for the upcoming academy in July. Both seem to be going positively, so we should have 2 new cadets starting in July sometime. Damian Aguilar was our last cadet that got out of the academy. He is officially out of FTO and Zoom, so we've got 1 extra guy on the road. Katie Rauman just finished her academy just this last Saturday, so she's going to be starting FTO sometime this week, so hopefully that'll turn out well. And then Takaya Dabbs, the most recent hire we had, she's in her 2nd phase, I believe, FTO, so she should only have a couple more months and she'll be out on her own. So everything goes well. I'm hoping by end of 2024 we will be fully staffed since 2019, I believe. So knock on wood. Hoping everything turns well, but everybody's been hard at work, and regrettably we've seen a lot of influx of fentanyl issues in town. We've had a few arrests and a few seizures and things like that. Nothing huge, but just a noted thing that it's a continued problem in the community, but we're definitely not different than anywhere else, unfortunately, it seems. So, high note, we did help take part in the Wheels to Work at the Fort Morgan Middle School. Like I said, like 300 some kids for the whole event. So we had a couple cars and a few folks come up there to answer some questions. And I wasn't there present for it, but it sounded like it went really well, and the kids enjoyed having us there and seeing all the cool stuff we get to play with. So
Cool.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions, concerns?
Brian and just appreciated you guys' presence today at the middle school league track meet.
Sure.
So it was good to see you guys out there mixing and mingling with the kids and everyone.
Sure. Yeah, we appreciate it. And again, nice sunshine, so get some vitamin D is beneficial.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Looks like we have Ray from the fire department.
Good evening. So I'll start off with some good news. We just got our ISO packet back to us. So we went from a 7 to a 4, and we are 3 points away from being a 3. So there's some things on the fire department side and on the city and the rural side that they can do to get to a 3. Whether or not we can get below a 3 would take a tremendous amount. So I don't know that we will ever, I'm not gonna say we'll never get there, but to get below a 3 would be a pretty big mountain to climb. But we'll work towards that and see where it lands.
ISO.
So it's what determines your homeowner's insurance, part of your homeowner's insurance.
Cool.
So it's a fire protection rating is what it is.
Oh,
Gotcha.
I don't know how many of you have been by the training center. The curb and concrete around the training center has been completed. The heating element for the memorial and the sidewalk is in place. We're waiting for the electrician to get that all tied in, and then that will be poured. I believe they finished the roof today, so that should be taken care of. Second week of June, we host the Colorado State Firefighters Association State Convention. So there will be 3 days of hands-on training at the training center. Chief Dave McGrail from Denver Fire is the lead instructor for that. So we'll do live fire and forcible entry, things like that. We'll have an open house at the station. I know they're utilizing the course for the banquet, so that'll be going on the second week of June. Unfortunately, we lost a home about a week ago in the wind event. Fortunately, I know this probably sounds not good, but fortunately it was in a cul-de-sac where the homes were spaced out more. We did have damage to an RV that was in the house next to it. We stopped it from going, and then we stopped it from spreading to the house to the north of it. Had it been on a straight street, we could have been talking about losing a block of homes just because of how strong the wind was. We did have some issues where Lucky Lou's decided they were more important than the fire department getting there. We about took out a handful of people stretching our large diameter hose trying to get to the house. So we put on our Facebook page, we know everybody wants to know what's going on, but please stay clear. Allow us to do our jobs. Unfortunately, the house was pretty well gone before we got there. But all in all, to only lose that one house in that wind was an outstanding job by our guys.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we had our first call with a car into the cable barrier. So the cable barrier did its job. However, because it was a low-profile vehicle, when it came up through the median into the barrier, the top cable went across the top of the car onto the passenger side. So it pinned it up against the barrier and probably went 200 feet before it got stopped, but they were pinned in their vehicle. So they couldn't get out the passenger side, they couldn't get out the driver's side. We had multiple close calls with our apparatus. We about got 2 of them hit. I don't know what it's gonna take. I mean, we've lost, not in brush, but across the nation, multiple firefighters being struck on the roadway because people not paying attention. I'll run into a house that's fully involved any day of the week first standing out on the roadway because people just don't pay attention. Fortunately, there were no injuries, so we had time on our side to safely get the cable removed. So those you just can't cut the cable in the middle, you have to go find the turnbuckles and alleviate the pressure there. However, we couldn't get the turnbuckle to break loose, so we had to cut it. So, yeah.
What's the follow-up on that, since they just put that in? Obviously, it needs to be repaired, so does someone get notified? So that they come out and repair it?
CDOT gets notified, but I can tell you they are about out of post to repair the cable barrier. With that, I'll answer any questions anybody asks.
Do you guys, I know I keep asking this, but the memorial, is there a timeline that's just still sitting there? I have people coming to me saying, people are dying before they get to see their bricks out there that they purchased, and they're pretty, I mean, it's a pretty emotional topic, so if we
That's
could,
understandable, but I'll just put this out here. I had a discussion with a retired member, and my comment to him was, if retired members and their spouses are concerned about this now, why wasn't this a concern on the day or the weeks after the fatality? It's very personal to us. It's a memorial for a fallen brother, so we understand it has taken time, but we didn't want to dump it into a contractor to complete a memorial for a fallen brother. So, I know counselor and the rule board, they get the brunt of people being upset, and nobody will come talk to us so that we can explain the situation, but that's the situation. We're hoping it will be completed within a month. It all depends on the electrician getting there to get everything tied in before we can pour the concrete.
so is that what's going in that trench
Yep.
that's there? It's just waiting for electricity. Very good, I appreciate your explanation.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne?
I just have a couple items this evening. City staff did go through the process of hiring a replacement, and I have her with us this evening. This is Chris Bostrom. She comes to us from the city of Fort Morgan with 19 years of financial experience, and she's actually even stood in for their treasurer, which is equivalent to my finance director position, a year ago when they were looking for a finance person. So I think she's going to be a great fit for the city. She's been with us for about a week. Things are going really well. I'm excited.
Good, welcome.
And with that, the other thing I have is that back when we did our 2023 budget, I may have mentioned, they had all the turmoil over Senate Bill 2022-238 and Senate Bill 23B-001. Were they going to backfill the city's property tax losses? And the one that the county was fairly confident that we would get was the SB 2022-238, and they were unsure about the SB 23B. I chose to be, as I always have been, very reserved on this, and I did not budget either one of these items. I will tell you that in our May property tax distribution, we received both of those payments, so we have got $148,000 additional property tax revenue for 2024.
Okay, good, thank you. Lorianne Thacker.
Just a couple things. The next regular meeting falls on Memorial Day, so Monty's going to talk a little bit more here in just a minute about what to do with that. And then I wanted to report we have one new liquor license application that's been received by what's going to be called the Far Corner, that's going inside the Borders Hotel. And then I anticipate another application coming in this week. I meet with him tomorrow, and then I'll announce once that's received. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Dan Krob, we have you on the phone. Anything from you?
Thanks, Mayor and Council. I don't have any great news like Joanne did, but I will have some legislative updates coming your way, mostly dealing with statewide kind of planning issues that are coming up. So nothing to report other than that tonight. Happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Dan? Nope. All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys.
Monty Torres.
Okay, just a few items. Miranda mentioned Memorial Day coming up and it conflicting with our normal council meeting. And typically the plan is if we don't have anything significant, we just cancel that meeting. But we just never know about planning and zoning or anything significant that may come up. So we'll make that call probably a week prior, and we'll just let you guys know if there's enough to put on it to actually have an agenda. So if everyone's okay with that, that'll be our plan moving forward. Okay, super. Other thing I was going to mention is Dale's not here, but I want to relay he's got a couple projects going on with Lance as well. And we did have some complaints about blowing sand out near the golf course when we had the high wind day coming from the north, blowing sand into the west side neighborhoods or some parts of the neighborhood. And Dale got on that pretty quickly and coordinated with the contractor, so they should have more water trucks, things like that out there. They had a small section of the silt fence that did get blown over. That's been repaired. And so we're just going to kind of watch that. As soon as they get everything shaped up, then they can put their erosion control stuff on it and reseed it. But we're just going to really watch it, and the contractor understands it's important to keep water on it whenever there is high winds. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that anymore. Also, we took one additional step. We did have city employee that we sent to go door to door on areas where we received phone calls where they thought it was significant sand, just to document how bad it was. And there's a couple homes where it was kind of bad, but the rest were not too bad. And most everyone that Patrick had talked to that day, they actually wanted to talk more about Vero and Aloe and the boring, those type of things, more than the sand. And so Tyler is not able to be here this evening, but he just wanted to relay to council that with all the underground boring and getting in the fiber lines and everything, just anyone who does talk to council members, just refer them as quickly as possible to 304 Clayton, or even our front desk if you need to, and we'll get them the numbers, just so that Tyler's crew over there can respond to any of these issues, whether it's sprinkler systems, landscaping, safety issues. We just need to know as soon as possible. And each week, there's 2 mornings each week that Patrick meets with the different contractor groups, and then also in between, if any issues come up, he's got them on speed dial so he can get a hold of them pretty quickly. So, so that he wanted me to pass that on. And then also we have a team going tomorrow to Akron. DOLA is sponsoring a resiliency camp, and so we're going to go to that. And essentially they're looking at how to make your projects more resilient. The projects that we're going to discuss are the RO facility, the reverse osmosis water facility, and then also a project that Tyler's working on, the URA, Urban Renewal Authority, and see if that does gain momentum, just how to make sure it does work and it's sustainable and a more resilient project overall. And that's all I have.
Lonnie, can I just stick in there? If we don't have that next council meeting, just a reminder from my finance committee that we will still have to pay bills, and I'll need you to, at least 3 of you, to come in and sign off on those bills before we can mail them out.
Hey Monty, over by the railroad tracks, they're clearing off a bunch of land. Is that where that cell phone building's going? Or do you know what's going on?
We thought it was something else, like a junkyard or something going in there, so we checked with the county, and the county said, no, that's not the case, but they didn't tell us what exactly was going on. It wasn't a junkyard.
I guess I get asked about that quite a bit, so.
If I find out anything, I'll relay that to you guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, mayor and council reports. Does anybody have anything to share?
I do, because I don't know how to be quiet. A couple weeks ago, my husband and I had the privilege of being able to attend a conference for firefighters in Florida. That is a privilege that's afforded to us through the fire department via the city, and the rural board, I believe, contributes to that as well. This was so amazing to be able to attend. This particular conference was geared towards leadership. I sat in session with my husband the entire first day. He stayed in session for 3 days, as he just recently picked up an officer position within the fire department. These trainings that we provide to volunteers, I think, are so vital. The volunteers in a room of hundreds were few, because they are mostly paid members, and they definitely did give kudos to the volunteers, because it's something difficult to do, to be a volunteer. In addition to that, they did have specific courses sessions that were for being married to the fire department and how to handle that. So the wives being able to go and knowing that they have support and how to deal with the challenges of your spouse just getting up and leaving you in the middle of a restaurant or in the middle of a birthday party. It was really neat to see that and to be able to witness that. So I appreciate the privilege. Chief McGrail out of the Denver Fire Department and his wife actually spoke. She's actually from Akron originally. So it was just a great experience. They do have other conferences that are hands-on fire training, not just leadership. So again, I just wanted to say thank you because it was an amazing experience.
Very good. I'm glad you got to do that. That's awesome. Anybody else? Yeah. If there's nothing else, I'd look for a motion to adjourn and move into our work session.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I forwarded